Hey there, folks. Welcome to yesterday's news for July 26th, 2018. Um, Today, most of the interesting stories had to do with the president, so I guess that's who I'm going to talk about tonight. Um, so, first off, one of the big top trending headlines was that no tariffs with the EU. I'm not surprised by that. There was a lot of chatter very early on that, again, this is a guy who wrote a book on negotiating, and if you read his, well, I haven't actually read his book, but what I've heard from people who have read his book, that it's a negotiating tactic. You basically you're trying to set up the landscape of the negotiation so that there's something to argue about, and that's what he's been doing with the tariffs. So, um, it's kind of a obnoxious thing to do if you're already negotiating with somebody who's holding up their end of bargains and things like that. But when you have when you're dealing with somewhat hostile negotiating partners, it can be helpful to have a distraction such as a looming trade war to get your point across. So the next time you panic that he's going to start a trade war, just remember that it's a negotiating tactic, and it's not going to actually end in a trade war. So the more interesting story is actually on Slate, which surprised me. That apparently a study came out and proved that all this stuff about fake news and online social media stuff is not actually what got him elected. He actually did worse among people who are online a lot and people with a heavy social media presence than he did with like people who are not on the grid. And that it was actually people who are not heavy internet users that put him over the top. So it does look like it was, in fact, the blue collar union types who got him elected, and not people who got tricked by fake news. Not that I ever really bought the whole fake news thing. Anyways, at least not in that direction. So that's just it's interesting to see a more left wing source kind of admit that. So cheers to them. Good job, Slate. I commend your objectivity. So yeah, short one tonight. It was kind of a slow day, and I have less to say because I'm not in my usual environment. So if you enjoy this kind of content, like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you again tomorrow night.